This video is part of a docuseries detailing stories of viral videos and clips from the internet. I'm breaking them down to provide some context for what you may or may not come across with internet access. Please keep in mind this is an educational series informing the public on real news events. These stories are intended for mature audiences and viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to get right into today's video, but real quick, I just wanted to take a second to say I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. These videos are not intended to glorify anything, but are here to serve as education and highlight the importance of awareness and training. With that being said, let's get into the video. The first story takes place in South Philadelphia and starts off with the family doing a wellness check on their relatives living together inside a home when they stumble across something unsettling. The incident in this story took place not too long ago on December 23rd, 2022. A family decided to do a wellness check on two relatives that lived together after not hearing from either of the two relatives in days. Now, these two relatives were a father, 54-year-old Ty Din, and his son, 27-year-old Jack Din. Upon arriving to the home, the family discovered red stains on the floor and immediately called police. Philly police arrived on scene around 6:30 a.m. While searching the house, they found a red trail leading to the basement of the home. This led police to a freezer down inside the basement, and when police ultimately opened the freezer up, they found the father, Ty Din, face down with the bag over his head. Next to the icebox was a knife, also stained, that would prove to be the murder weapon of choice in the murder. Police later announced the man dead on arrival at 6:50 a.m. The son, Jack Din, was picked up by police later that day and was later charged in mid-January of 2023 after being denied bail. He now sits at the Curran Formhold Correctional Facility facing homicide charges. Videos would later surface of the crime scene, but they are far too graphic to be shown here. If you do not want to see the video, do not click the link in the comments. I wouldn't do that if I were you. The next story is very recent, occurring on January 6th in 2024 in Tijuana, Mexico, which is why I call this story Tijuana Wick. A couple of municipal agents were shot and attacked when they arrived at a home located in Johnson Canyon. The incident recorded on CCTV shows when a pair of officers, a man and a woman, park in a pickup truck. The woman gets out of the truck wearing civilian clothes when an SUV pulls in front of the officer's vehicle and men begin firing at the officer still inside the truck. The woman officer who was already outside of the vehicle uses the truck as cover while also returning fire at the attackers. This gave the male officer inside the truck the time he needed to get himself out of the truck and take further cover. But by the time the male officer exited the vehicle, the hellfire of the female officer was raining down on the attackers, caused the attackers to flee. However, for some reason, the attackers stopped a few meters ahead of where the SUV attack took place. When the female officer continued firing at the attackers inside their SUV, fatally striking one of the attackers, who was later announced DOA by Red Cross paramedics responding to the incident. The male officer inside the truck received a gunshot wound to the arm, but was in stable condition and waited for paramedics as well. Police arrived on the scene in minutes and escorted the officer to the hospital for medical attention. Mind you, this was the third attack on a municipal agent in a week. On December 30th, the deputy chief was attacked on his way home, and hours later, a female officer was shot by a motorist. So many of the municipals are currently on heightened alert, with some of them being under protective watch. Along to the next story, this is one of the darker, more prolific stories. The story comes from the late 90s in New Mexico and details David Parker Ray, better known as the Toybox Killer. You have probably heard of this guy before due to his horrific doings and police suspecting him of murdering up to 60 women. But the details are truly horrifying on a next level as to what was being done to these poor women. David got the name the Toybox Killer from the trailer he used to torment his victims. Ray soundproofed a truck trailer, which he called the Toy Box, and equipped it with medical devices and other equipment to torture his victims. David's girlfriend, Cindy Hendy, would help David track and lure victims, watch, and occasionally help him torment the victims as well. On March 19, 1992, a 22-year-old Cynthia Vigil was hooking in a parking lot when a man claiming to be an undercover cop told her she was under arrest for solicitation and put her in the back of his car. That man was David Parker Ray, and he brought Vigil to a nearby soundproof trailer, the Toybox. There, he chained her to a table, and in the trailer, played an audio tape stating exactly what would be done to her. I'm going to play the beginning of the tape so you can get a small idea of the twisted behavior of David Parker. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You are disoriented and scared too, I would imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. Now, you are obviously here against your will. Totally helpless. Don't know where you're at. Don't know what's going to happen to you. You're very scared or very pissed off. I'm sure that you've already tried to get your wrists and ankles loose. No, you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's going to happen next.
The tape would only get extremely worse from there on. For the next 3 days, David would continue to do the unthinkable, with help from his girlfriend Cindy. They used an assortment of tools, instruments, toys, etc. to torture Vigil. On the 3rd day, while David was at work, Cindy accidentally left the keys to Vigil's restraints on a nearby table. Seizing the opportunity, Vigil lunged for the keys and freed her hands. Cindy attempted to stop Vigil's escape, but Vigil was able to defend herself with an ice pick inside the trailer. Wearing nothing but a shock collar, she ran to a nearby mobile home and asked the homeowner for help, when they brought her inside and called the police. Cindy and David were later apprehended by police in their home. They found the trailer with over $100,000 worth of equipment inside, as well as videotapes of other victims and more audio recordings. Ray is believed to be responsible for as many as 60 murders, but the only evidence to prove that was his diary entries. Ray was never charged with murder, but was sentenced in 2001 to 224 years in prison for multiple offenses for abduction and torture of 3 women. But he passed away from a heart attack in prison only 1 year after his sentencing in 2002. His girlfriend Cindy was sentenced to 36 years in prison, but became eligible for parole after serving half of her sentence and was released in 2019. The only reason I included this story in a video is because I recently came across a photo of the Toybox sitting outside an FBI facility and was reminded of the horrors of what took place inside. It is a true tale of survival. Vigil escaped an early death, and countless women from the same fate. The last story for today's video, also occurring on January 6th of 2024, like the Tijuana Wick story, details a shooting caught on Instagram Live that left a 17-year-old fatally wounded, and another man was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. I'm going to play the parts of the video that I'm able to show here, and then we'll go over it.
You around, baby? I'll drop low. Come on. Bro, you not getting this shit back, bro. No, chill out. Don't wait. Oh, yeah. Bro, I got the usher to your back, bro. Chill out, bro. Let this go, bro.
Supposedly, as the story has it, the men that were on live were also on live with their apparent ops when the incident occurred. The full video showing both sides is in the Telegram. You can see both perspectives. A man in a green hoodie begins arguing with a man in a black t-shirt over what appears to be a firearm. Both men proceed to get into a physical altercation, both pointing weapons at one another, when the men fall over off-screen and gunshots are heard. A woman in the background begins yelling, saying one of the men is dead, making it seem as though the wound was obviously fatal. Just after 11 p.m., police were called to the scene, where they found a 17-year-old man dead on arrival, and another man was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. I heard rumors the man in the green was the one taken to the hospital, and I also heard that he passed away. I'm not sure how true this is, as it appears there were multiple shooters and more than 2 people were shot in total. Also, there is little information available as the incident is very recent. The full video is in the Telegram for anyone wanting to see more. I appreciate everyone if you stayed this long. Continue to stick around until the very end for free premium code that you can use at checkout on the website.
You can see me. Get out of here, bub. And you matter, alright? There's always going to be somebody that cares about you. And you're a good person. No matter what people say, you matter. Ignore them. They're losers. The ding-dong ditching you. I'm just trying to say something nice. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're running away and stuff. I'm just trying to say that you matter, man. Or girl. Whoever you are, you matter to someone. Just keep that in mind. Don't forget that.